In my last video, I showed you the beginning of my journey to sew my own wedding dress. The way it unraveled so differently than I had pictured. The part where I had to take apart and mend my stubborn old sewing machine, and the many moments of frustration when nothing seemed to go right. I stitched that dress from start to finish at least 4 times. But somewhere in the middle of all the unpicking and redoing, something shifted. The dress slowly began to take shape. Not the one I had planned, but something softer, simpler, and truer to the day we were dreaming of. It became less about perfection and more about patience. Less about the dress itself and more about the hands that made it and the love it was meant to hold. Somehow I have a habit of choosing the hardest way. So in the midst of planning our handmade celebration, I decided I also wanted to knit and design a cardigan for the wedding day. It wasn't exactly practical. There were flowers to gather and food to bake, 100 small details tugging at me. But still, stitch by stitch, the cardigan grew. Imperfect, slow, and full of intention. The Finnish summer can be quite unpredictable, and on the morning of our celebration the temperature dropped to just +3 Celsius, which is only 37 Fahrenheit. But we are a resilient bunch, and if it's cold at an outdoor party, so be it. What touched me the most was how everyone who came to celebrate with us also helped bring it all to life. Setting the tables, baking and serving the food, playing music. It was deeply communal, in the most heartfelt and human way. There was a quiet kind of magic in how the day unfolded, woven together by many hands, many hearts, and the warmth we gave each other when the weather gave us none. In the end, both my dress and cardigan were finished. I didn't have time to properly curl my hair or fuss over every detail, but that didn't matter. That's not really who I am anyway. I felt more than happy in my handmade outfit, content, grounded, and just a little bit delightfully undone in the most down-to-earth way. The whole celebration followed that same spirit. Not perfect in every detail, but warm, full of love and laughter, and handmade in the most down-to-earth way. We didn't have professional chefs or photographers. Everything was done by us, and that's exactly what made it special. Although I tried my best, but I couldn't capture as much on film as I would have liked. since I spent the day surrounded by our loved ones. But here are a few photos taken by our family and friends that capture the spirit of our day. In the evening, Esa and I left the party and headed to a nearby island to spend a peaceful night together. Many of our guests stayed overnight at our house, but after a day so full of love and wonderful encounters, a quiet night for just the two of us was truly needed. As a highly sensitive person, days like this are a real act of strength, both beautifully and exhausting in their own way. I am still so glad for how everything turned out and how I felt energized and at peace throughout the entire evening, despite my fears that it might be otherwise. Just a few days after the celebration, we set off on a northern journey across all of Scandinavia. Traveling in our van, we headed south to reach a place I had dreamt of visiting for many years, the Faroe Islands. I've always felt a pull toward places filled with nothingness. Landscapes and feelings and fleeting moments where time seems to pause. Wide open spaces where the world holds its breath, silence hums softly and the imagination is free to drift. And the Faroe Islands were precisely that. Rolling hills stretching endlessly to the horizon, waterfalls spilling like echoes from ancient stories, and narrow roads weaving through untouched terrain, and tiny villages nestled into vibrant green slopes. It felt like walking through a dream, still taking shape. There is a rare kind of magic found in such profound silence. During our time there, a heat wave swept across all of Scandinavia, so we couldn't do much more than wander in the slightly cooler evening sun and marvel at the vast natural beauty. A beauty that left us speechless then and still does today. After a hectic early summer of preparing and celebrating, I felt dizzy and unreal. I worried traveling so soon wasn't the best idea, thinking I needed rest most of all. But in the end, the vast landscapes and the humbling power of nature refreshed me in ways I hadn't expected. And of course, there was my marvelous, hilarious travel companion, my husband, whose presence made every moment even more unforgettable.
nature gave a new name, source to nurture the world, ready, sing a new tune. Weight of it all won't get me down. Wild as a stallion set free. Wind in my hair, sweet essence of me.
Welcome to Esa's kitchen.
First, light up the fire. Hey.
Quite close.
First, light up the fire. Then get some stuff from the fridge.
What are we having today?
We're having
Puhu vähän kovempaa, toi kohisee.
we're having a splendid dinner with some steaks made out of bees. It's but
Kokki katosi johonkin kaappiin.
and I'm going to the kitchen and with some salad.
Tell me secrets, power of words. Tell me stories, legends before. Ones who ran with the wolves, broke free, free from all ropes. Pharaoh strength, the one who can't be contained. Wild as a stallion set free. Wind in my hair, sweet essence of me. Wild as a stallion set free. Wind in my hair, sweet essence of me.
Hello everybody, this is Esa Cam filming the beautiful Galdhøpiggen behind me. Can't cross over it now since there is some regulations to not cross the glacier. But this is footage for Sanna. What else? The sun is shining, everybody's smiling. Cheers.